Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Mom of Three and Me, where we share all things motherhood, marriage, and ministry. I am Brieanna Lightfoot Smith. I am a mom of three boys, hence the title, Mom of Three and Me. And I'm so excited to share some educational / equipping information with you guys today. So if you saw the name of the episode, today we're talking about what to do if you feel stressed, because motherhood, as we all know, can be a very stressful job. It can be a very stressful role that you are playing, especially in situations where you didn't plan it, but even more so when you didn't plan it, because you're just like, I didn't even know this was happening to me, and so I have no idea what I'm doing. So hopefully some of the information that I share today is going to help you with navigating that space. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. How do you know that you're stressed? First, let's start there, right? For me, I know that I'm stressed out if I'm easily irritated and if I'm anxious. And that can happen a lot when you're around kids because they're just high energy and sometimes you put out what they're putting in, right? But I think it's really important to recognize when you might just be feeling the day-to-day stress of life, right? Versus an ongoing, every single day you wake up, you're feeling anxious. You're not excited to start your day because you feel like you're already overwhelmed before you even get started. And if that's the case for you, then I think the things that I'm going to share are going to be really helpful. So I have done something that I call an energy audit, and that really helps me in seasons, or maybe if it's not a season, maybe it's just a particular day where I feel like I'm stressed out. And so I ask myself 3 questions whenever I'm doing an energy audit. The first question I ask myself is, what is currently taking my energy? The second question that I ask myself is, what out of the things that I just listed can be completely dismissed? And then the last thing that I ask myself is, what can be delegated? So the first question, what's currently taking up my energy? A few weeks ago, when I did this energy audit and I asked myself this question, I realized that something that was taking up a lot of my energy was simply thinking. Like, I was spending way too much time in my head. I was getting bogged down with the what ifs of different situations. And so instead of getting caught up in all the things that I had to do, I made the quick switch and said, okay, I'm going to move everything that's out of my brain and onto a piece of paper where I can look at it. And being able to see everything visibly was able to help me for that next step, which is what can be completely dismissed. So there were certain things that were on my list that were just completely unnecessary, right? Like, oh, I need to respond back to that text message from 3 weeks ago from that person. Not to say that cultivating relationships isn't important, but if I'm stressing out about it and it's affecting the way that I'm showing up in my parenting or in my marriage, then it can be completely dismissed. I just made a note to respond to that person eventually, and then I crossed that off of my list. Another thing that I find can be completely dismissed. Sometimes it looks like chores. On a particular day, it might look like chores because I will have to ask myself, okay, what is the end goal of this? For example, with laundry, some days it doesn't get done and I'm just like, okay, does everybody have clean underwear? Do we have enough stuff to wear for the next few days? Okay, that's enough to tell me I think we're gonna be okay. And this week it showed me I needed to do the laundry because I could not find underwear for my son. So I was like, okay, I think it's time to do a few loads to kind of handle that situation. But I appreciated that in prior weeks, it was really a, hey, this is not a top priority because everybody still has clean clothes, everybody still has underwear, so we're gonna keep it pushing. And then the last question I said was, what can be delegated? Now, this really helped me even just yesterday because I was sitting in the kitchen and again, I started feeling those anxiety levels getting up. I started feeling overwhelmed in my thoughts. And so I had to do a quick list going back to what's getting my energy. I said, okay, I'm spending too much time in my head, so I need to write down the things, or I mentally wrote down the things that needed to happen. And the 4 things that I said needed to get done yesterday before I went to bed was helping Jaden, my oldest son, with his family tree project. I said I need to pack the boys' backpacks for the week. I always lay out their clothes for the week instead of every single day because it makes it easy, especially on mornings where we might be running behind schedule. And then I wanted to clean the kitchen because I had been cooking. So I had those 4 tasks, and then I said, you know what? My husband is sitting in the living room. Let me go and ask him if he can help me with 2 out of these 4 things. And it may seem so simple, but in prior seasons, I wouldn't have done that. I probably would have done everything and then had an attitude that other people didn't help me. I'd been looking at him crazy, like, so you don't see me over here getting all this stuff ready for the week. You're not gonna pitch in. But when I asked him, he was willing to help, which I really appreciated. And it was fun too because I got to see him hanging out with Jaden and working on the family tree project because that was one of the things that he picked. And then he also said that he would do the backpack thing, which I low-key still did. So it's fine. Everything else that I was able to take off my list, like him having those 2 things even mentally, made everything else go faster. So I was able to lay out the boys' clothes, and I was also able to clean the kitchen in less than 60 minutes. And so I did not go to bed feeling stressed. In fact, I spent 30 minutes at the end of the day just reflecting on how grateful I was for the day, and I kind of mentally went through some of the things that I need to get done for this week, but it came from a place of gratitude and not from a place of anxiety. I said in the beginning, y'all, motherhood can be stressful, life can be stressful, and even if you're not a mom yet, or if you have no plans or desires to be a mom, you can still use these same tips as when it comes to that energy audit. Asking yourself those 3 questions. What is getting my energy? What can be completely dismissed? And then what on my list can be delegated? So I hope that is helpful for you guys. I'll be doing another episode next week about the 2 things that I've been delegating that have been really helping me, not just a day-to-day, oh, these tasks need to get done, but just more of a systems thing. And so if you guys are interested in systems, or if you're interested in tools that will help you run your life more efficiently, especially if you might be watching this and say, okay, Brie, well, I don't have a spouse, or my spouse travels multiple times during the week, so usually it's just me, then the 2 things that I share next week are going to be extremely helpful. So make sure that you tune into those. If you're not following me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me over there at Lightfoot Smith. I share just my day-to-day routines with my boys. I share some funny reels, things that make me laugh even when I'm making them. And I hope that something you see over there is encouragement as well. So hope you guys will join me next week, and drop a question in the comments. Like, what is it that you feel like you need help with when it comes to motherhood, marriage, or ministry? Talk to you guys next week.